Glad to have you back. Now, the recent arrest of Aisha Achimugu, a high-profile Nigerian business executive and socialite, has ignited vigorous debates across Nigeria and global community about justice, the rule of law, and human rights protections. Circumstances surrounding her detention case raises urgent questions about due process, governmental accountability, and Nigeria's commitment to fair legal procedures, issues that resonate far beyond a personal case. Now, let's examine our role as being a key business leader, and I'm being joined by a lawyer, broadcaster, and the head of Crown Field Solicitors, Mr. Festus Ogwuche. Thank you so much. It's good to have you on the program this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Yes, I think we should start with you telling us more about Aisha Achimugu's background and her contributions to Nigeria's economy.
Well, I wouldn't be the person to do that, but I know very well that she's been having so much to do with international politics, international business. She's a well-renowned, internationally renowned business person. She has her pies in so many areas, in so many parts of the business enterprise, and she has made valuable contributions to the advancement of business, the development of communities, and every shade of area you can think about. To the extent that I know her, I think she's a very credible person, and maybe if there are any issues that surrounds her personality or her activities, then maybe that's a little shadowy, but it's not come out to the fore yet. But then we know very well that she's been somebody that you can impute some bit of some quantum of good character to.
Why is it important that she receive fair hearing in this matter?
Well, it's important that fair hearing applies because it's one of the principles of the EFCC, not just EFCC alone, but anti-corruption bodies, not only anti-corruption bodies, but also law enforcement authorities. Fair hearing is very, very important because we have a presumption that panders to the interests of somebody who is suspected to have committed a crime. The presumption that the person is not guilty yet until the guilt aspect is determined by a court of competence. The presumption that we are dealing with a lady who is well known, who's a socialite, an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, and whose character has not been found wanting in any way. The presumption also that we have a law that guides the activities of the EFCC. We have a constitution that protects her rights, from arbitrary invasion by men of the law enforcement authorities, no matter what the reasons are, and accepting for proof, serious evidential proof of her having been found guilty or found wanting in any area whatsoever in the dispensation of her business activities. There shouldn't be any question about doing anything that will impugn her character, impugn her prestige, impugn her reputation. The idea of having this thing sensationalized in the media by the manner of arrest at the airport leaves so much to be desired, because I think there's been a series of judgments, decisions of courts, international courts, sub-regional courts, ECOWAS court, Supreme Court, that presumption must apply in every situation, and it must be applied in circumstances where if you now sensationalize it and make it a matter for press discussion, it will affect the person's reputation, it will affect her character, it will affect her business interests. Yes. That's the reason why the right to fair hearing must be adhered to at all times.
Though, as at yesterday, we hear that a court has already ordered that she should be released within 24 hours. But what message does the detention send, let me ask you now, to the business community and maybe some foreign investors?
I will say that the detention is totally unwarranted because she made up her mind herself to return to Nigeria to face a trial or to face whatever investigation or any inquiry that the EFCC want to put before her. She was not running. She was not absconding. The Federal High Court had earlier restrained the EFCC from arresting her or doing anything. Later, that order was vacated. That the court said, well, the issue should be around. I think ordinarily, and that's how it should obtain everywhere, when you're dealing with such high-profile persons, not necessarily because they are high-profile, but because the interest of law allows that. If she can, on her own, come all the way from the United Kingdom to Nigeria for the purposes of this, why arrest her at the airport? All she needed to have done is maybe get to her house, refreshen up, and maybe make one or two contacts and go to the EFCC. It would have reached, it would have gotten to the same result. But here we are talking in the public space about a woman who is yet to be found guilty. And there are a series of allegations, money laundering, Ponzi scheme, possession of unlawfully obtained properties, and all that. And these are not yet issues that have been determined by evidential proof. And the whole thing is out in the streets. It's out internationally by virtue of her character, by virtue of her personality, by virtue of the extent at which the world knows her, her business interests, her partners, all of them are seriously now looking at her from one particular angle. And this thing totally kills business. It kills investment. So some of these things can be taken on very privately at the stage it was, without getting people to know that this is going on, without going to the media or whatever. If the Federal High Court had vacated that order and she had returned on her home, nothing stops the FCC from, if they wait for her for a couple of days and they don't find her, from doing her a reminder by way of a text message, by way of a letter. And she will surely will come, because that is why she came to Nigeria. So we have this quarrel with this mode of investigation of cases, mode of police enforcement. Even the police force, Nigerian police force is applying that method now to get people to be invited, people who they know will not have gone, people who they know that they will necessarily be there. So why go arresting her at the airport, sensationalizing the whole issue? It sounds pecuniary as far as I'm concerned.
Now, let's look at the broader implication of this case, what it has for Nigeria's justice system in its entirety.
Well, it has so much to do with our squalid judicial system. I call it squalid without any apologies whatsoever, because we have seen a whole lot of things going wrong with the manner of judicial dispensation of cases. The criminal aspects give one the kind of fear or intuition that a lot of people who are innocent are languishing in jails because of the manner of getting this thing done. We don't go doing everything to search out every evidential proof that will nail somebody who is suspected of or alleged to have committed some crime. But there are some areas that leave it there and let the course of investigation reveal the aspects of the crime the person has committed, in terms that the proof of innocence says it applies in the favor of anybody who's suspected of committed any crime until proven otherwise by a court of competent jurisdiction. I think that it will send very wrong signals to not just Nigerians, but to the international community, people that want to do business here. It also send very wrong signals to the people that have related or wants to relate or have any business interests or business connections to do with the person in question. So some of these things can be done very mildly. In the United States, I know a lot of big people, they commit crimes, but there are ways of going about it, not just for the big people, even for the small people, coming to bandy reports on the media that so number of money launderers, also so number of Yahoo persons have been arrested and been this and it doesn't add any value to the anti-corruption body. What is important is the efficiency of their delivery in terms of investigations, in terms of proof, in terms of the quantum of evidence they bring before the courts. We await what they'll bring when she has arraigned finally. And thank God the judge, the Federal High Court, had taken a very bold step in granting her bail, knowing very well that her arrest was not founded on very sound grounds as far as I'm concerned. If she would come to Nigeria, immediately she got to the knowledge that the order in her favor have been removed. Of course, there's no point going to arrest her at the airport and causing all that furore that shouldn't have been in the first place. Thank you.
Well, let's now, almost finally, what ways do you see Aisha Achimugu serving as an inspiration, of course, for entrepreneurs, women across the country?
The things that we've been looking forward to, foreign direct investments, and we're looking forward to investments from all over the country. We want a scheme where the system works, where the institutions are strengthened to the effect that People are not looking to be given good names or be praised to high heavens to do their work, but they are effective and efficient in the delivery of their services, like the EFCC. And we want to be encouraged that people should make money. The more money you make, the more revenue gets to the federal government, the more people you touch, you affect positively. And the idea of raising brows when you notice that somebody has some bit of chunky sum of money in their bank is quite a wrong procedure, because people make legitimate business and make a lot of money from it. The idea of maybe seeing some amount of money in somebody's raising brows when you know very well that the person is doing legitimate business. Except, well, you first of all do your investigations, find out, do a fact-finding endeavor to ensure that you look at what really the person is doing, what sort of business he's doing, before you can now talk about going after the person, to invite the person for investigation. You don't just see an amount in somebody's vault and say, oh, bring the person, and now begin to sensationalize it and put it out there in the press for the international community and for the world to devour. I don't think that is proper investigation.
Before I let you go, what is the key message for Nigerians and, of course, everyone, government officials, everyone, with regards to this case?
Well, the thing is that Nigerians must understand that we are almost blacklisted globally for fraud and for Yahoo. And one day we'll get out of the woods. And I think it's a product of the system. And well, I grew up in the 70s, 80s, and I met Nigerians that were honest, sincere, and straightforward. Since times have changed too, but that does not mean that we have to continue in the way we do our things. But then, if we are ready to move on and get this country on the proper footing, then people must do the right things. Both the people, private citizens, officials of government, those that are into businesses, those that are into government. We have a duty to bring down this high level of impunity, corruption, arbitrariness that's going on in the system. For the anti-corruption bodies, I think a proper investigation prior to arrest, prior to sensationalization is very, very important, so that you don't go impugning people's reputation, impugning their integrity, impugning their prestige. No, that is totally wrong. And you don't just, on the basis of one whimsical allegation, now begin to hound a particular individual and think that maybe by so doing, the person will go to reveal a lot more. They have all the apparatus, all the institutional apparatus to go through anybody's private activities. I am Chief Festus Ogwuche, for instance. If there are certain shadowy deals that I'm involved in, it's easy for them to find out, and they get their facts before they now go after the person. They can even do that at the initial stage very quietly, without recourse to court, without recourse to the media, without recourse to this type of sensationalization that we are saying. These things will be appropriate to entrench a very proper democratic and constitutional order in our politics. The presumption of innocence is always in favor of the person being suspected to have committed a crime. Thank you. Mr.
Festus Ogwuche, lawyer, advocate for justice, broadcaster, thank you so much for joining the program. We appreciate this.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
All right, then.